Welcome everybody, my name is François Letarte and this is my channel JDR-D30, a channel about tabletop role-playing games. In my last video, my last tour, it was about Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, what I had in my collection. In the late 80s and in the 90s, Dungeons and Dragons wasn't a game I liked the best. I was elsewhere. As a game master, I was more interested in the D6 system or basic role playing. But I ran some D&D basic campaigns and was involved as a player in many Advanced Dungeons and Dragons games. Then, Wizards of the Coast bought TSR, and they announced eventually that they were to make a new edition of Dungeons and Dragons. And about this time, I read a lot about this upcoming new version of Dungeons and Dragons and was quite excited with what was proposed and was really looking forward to this new edition of Dungeons and Dragons. So today, it is my tour of my D&D 3rd edition collection and a little of 4th edition. So I hope you'll enjoy this video. So, see you after the presentation. Here comes 3rd edition. In my top 5 RPG, my personal favorite, it was in my top 5. When this book came, I've bought it in a local library, not a bookstore, sorry, a standard bookstore, which was unseen before because RPG Products was in a more specialized store. So they wanted to hit hard with this edition, and I really liked it. I liked the fact that it was very modular. I like the fact that it opened the door for other publishers to make stuff for this game, the D20 OGL, and I had a lot of fun with that. Even if it's my top 5 RPG today, will I replay that? Will I be able to be a game master in that? I don't know. It's to enjoy this game, you have to put a lot of time in it. To make this game flow, you have to study this game a lot, and I don't have much time anymore to do that. So, and I want my game to flow as much as possible. So it's not a good option for me as a game master. But it's still a good game. Came with that Dungeon Master's Guide. Quite useful too. The Monster Manual, for the same reason of the 1st edition Monster Manual. For me, this book is self-sufficient. I must say that this edition of Dungeons and Dragons was in a time where internet was there, so if you wanted other monsters, it was easy to find on the net. But I didn't really needed other monsters. With that, I filled my campaigns with all I wanted. But since I like the Fiend Folio from 1st edition, I've bought this one when it came out just to have these funky weird monsters from the first Fiend Folio. It's not exactly the same, but you have the 3rd edition version of them. I use some of them in my campaigns, and yeah, it had many funky moments around the table. And if I remember correctly, it was one of the few first 3.5 book that came out before 3.5 actually came out. So it was across 3.0 and 3.5. Unearthed Arcana, a collection of house rules that was quite used around my table. I did like 3.0 the way they did things, but I wanted to change some rules, and Unearthed Arcana provided me with lots of good ideas on how to change rules. I used the alternate hit point system, and I used some kind of hero points they presented here, and reputation score and things like that. So Unearthed Arcana, I did really like this book. It was quite handy. Gaming module, Return to Temple of Elemental Evil. Never got the chance to run it actually. I've bought it, but never had the time to prepare it and run it for a group. I should do that someday, maybe not in Dungeons and Dragons. I may just take the module and run it, in Advanced Fighting Fantasy or anything else, maybe Pathfinder. Well, I've bought it because it's the return of a classic. Simply for that. Dungeons and Dragons Game Master screen that look like that. I like Game Master screens. When I have a game and I want to run it, even if I don't want to run it, for me having the Game Master screen is quite important. I'm just showing you the illustration of this screen. Well, it's quite a good looking screen. I don't like these illustrations a lot, but they are nice. And this screen was quite good. It had every table you needed to run a 3.0 campaign. Another accessory, character sheets. Well, it was quite useful because for every class you have personalized sheets it was much more easier to manage the progression of your character if you had the sheet for your character. So I bought that and used them a lot, in fact. Campaign setting, Dragonlance, for the same reason. For first edition, I have lots of respect for this campaign. In fact, I never really read Dragonlance novels. I think I've read kind of 2 novels, but it's an interesting campaign setting, and this book I found it for a very friendly price, so it wasn't a big buy this day. I didn't have much to lose, so I'm quite happy to have it. It's fun to read, it's fun to sit with this book and flip through the pages and look what they did with the races and the classes to fit the Dragonlance setting. Not directly related, I showed it to you earlier, Pathfinder. I have this book, it's the French version, Le Jeu de Rôle, Manuel des Joueurs. I've bought it because presently I'm a player in the Pathfinder campaign, and my game master really use the online version of the rules, the French online version. He really does like that this way. Personally, I like to have the real book, so I've bought it, and the book is quite in use in game. Lots of players around the table likes to flip through pages instead of having it online. We have both versions around the table. People have it on their iPads or portable computers, and we have the real book. As a player, I do enjoy it because it's a good campaign. We have lots of fun. As a game master, I'm in the same position as what I've explained with 3.0. It's a very crunchy game, and right now I'm not into this kind of game to run. I don't have time to study a game and know all about the rules, and I don't want to play a game in which I will, toss away most of the rules just because I don't remember them. I prefer to have lighter games, uh, to have more control around the rules and make them flow around the table. It's a good game. As a game master, for me right now, it's too much. Dungeons and Dragons 4th edition. I've bought this book. Why? Because when I began to watch more videos on the net about role-playing games before I discovered the RPG Brigade and all that, I was watching lots of videos that were talking about 4th edition because I was searching for a game, a version of Dungeons and Dragons, and just wanted to know about this 4th edition I saw in the store but didn't knew nothing about it. And there was so much bad reviews for this game. Lots of good too, but many bad reviews. This game has been thrown in flames by so many people. Uh, I did want to have a look after all the bad things and some of the good things I've heard about and read about. I did want to take a look and I have bought a used copy just for to have an idea by myself. I took the time to read it. What I have to say about 4th edition now. The game is good, actually. It's very good. It's very well balanced. It was easy to read. It, in my opinion, it's the most easy version of Dungeons and Dragons to read. I understood the rules without rereading them. It was a one-shot deal when you read that. The game is well done. Do I want to play that? Well, the game master has to be very good for that because the game doesn't encourage role playing. You have dice systems that replace role playing. Yeah, you could just throw that away, but again, buying a game where you throw many major rules, why buying it? So why don't just play another game? And the characters are more too much super powered. I don't want to begin a game with that. As a game master, no, I don't want to run this game. It's not my style of game. But I can turn down. I won't turn down anyone who will want to play this game. I won't put that game into flames like many did. I will, but if someone asked me for an opinion, I would say, well, if you want to play Dungeons and Dragons, you should take a look with what has been done before getting into that. Maybe 4th edition will be what you want, but I think it's good to have a look back to what has been done before that, just to understand. Okay, as I said in the video, 3rd edition was one of my most favorite role-playing games of all times, but I can see that it's probably the most crunchy game I ever ran in my life. And back then, when I was enjoying it a lot, I put many time and many effort in order to make it work and make it flow around the table. But when you don't have, in my opinion, when you don't have that much time to put in a game, well, this game can be clunky at times. And even, in my present Pathfinder game, I do enjoy it. But when we settle for a combat, it feels like the game is slowing down. But it's my opinion because I know that Pathfinder is a very good game. It's a well-made game, and many people enjoyed it. Well, the same goes for 4th edition. I don't want to invest time in a game that in a game engine that won't do what I want for my gaming purpose. So I don't want to invest time. Well, I'm looking forward for D&D next. I won't rush at the store to buy it, but I will surely give it a look. And when the day I will have it, I will probably make a small video just to show it for you. So the next video will be again a tour of my D&D collection, but it won't be RPG stuff, but more, you know, things around the D&D universe. So stay tuned for more, and up to next time. My name is François Letarte. This is my channel, JDR D30, and I hope you have as much fun in your life as in your game.